Recent events regarding George Floyd and police brutality has shaken the world, leaving many in dismay. However, underneath the issue of police brutality lies a greater problem that has existed for centuries: racism. Racism has been around for as long as humanity and has always created a separation between people, putting them against each other. There has been this confusion and hatred between individuals, communities, and even nations, all because of one's skin color or ethnicity. Something so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Judging a person based on what you see rather than learning about who they are within. Before Islam came into the picture, black individuals were seen as slaves. They were treated at a status lower than animals and were traded amongst tribe members. You were doomed from the moment you were born as a black man, shunned and ridiculed by society. It was almost like an inescapable hole that you had to live in throughout your life. This was not the case only in the Middle East, but all around the world. In fact, the racist white individuals of the modern world right now were like the Arabs in the 7th century, both against dark-skinned individuals. However, after Islam came into the picture, the religion not only rejected racism, but taught Muslims to actively fight against racism in order to dismantle it in society. Take for example the story of Bilal. Bilal was a dark-skinned Ethiopian slave who embraced Islam. However, after his skin color or his history as a slave did not stop the Prophet loving Bilal as his own family, nor did it prevent Bilal's status from growing amongst the newly established and growing Muslim community. Take another example. The Prophet, peace be upon him, appointed Usama bin Zayd as the military leader for the Muslims, who was 19 years old at the time. He was known to be dark-skinned and the son of a former slave, which was not easily acceptable by society at the time. This prejudice was the thing that Islam and the Prophet tried to fight against. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, has always been at the forefront of actively dismantling racism in society, making sure to positively change society's perceptions about black individuals. In fact, a part of one of his sayings highlight the equality among all people, where he says, "You are sons of Adam, and Adam came from dirt. Let the people cease to boast about their ancestors." The Prophet acknowledges the fact that we all come from the same ancestor, Adam, and unity that should exist within humans. This is what Islam aimed to do in all levels of society, making sure black people and white people were treated exactly the same, whether it be for positions of power or leadership. In fact, there were many dark-skinned Muslim individuals at the time who were both a part of the Prophet's life as well as the wider Arab community. The principles that Islam brought changed the lives of many and maintained an equality among all. The teachings of Prophet Muhammad didn't stop at requiring Muslims to be non-racists, but it demands that Muslims be anti-racists. What's the difference? Non-racists do not actually try to dismantle racism in society, but only decide not to openly state anything racist as individuals. On the other hand, anti-racism, which is what the Prophet did, is actively trying to dismantle racism in all levels within a society. The Prophet said, "All mankind is from Adam and Eve, and an Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over a black, and a black has no superiority over a white, except by piety and good action." In fact, as far as we know, he was the first person in human history to declare that no person is above another by ethnicity or race. So it is our good actions, piety and character that can be weighed against a person, not our ethnicity or race. Another hadith or saying of the Prophet was, "Verily Allah, God, does not look at your bodies nor to your faces, but He looks to your hearts," as He pointed towards the heart with His fingers. He made sure to make a point that Allah will not judge us based on our appearances, race, or ethnicity, but by what is in our hearts and the people we truly are. Yes, all of these things is what Islam taught, but unfortunately it has not always been practiced this way throughout all of history. In other words, Islam's applications and teachings does not necessarily equal to the practices of Muslims today or in the past. So-called Muslim countries in the world right now are doing exactly what the Prophet was fighting against, and this is the problem. In certain places around the world, Islam is not practiced the way it should be, the way it was revealed to be. Despite this, we still have many beautiful examples of these practices. So in order to fight against racism in the world, we need to be careful not to remain as non-racists, but strive to do our best to be anti-racists. This is the only way that we can solve the issue of racism in the modern era, working together and caring for one another, no matter our skin color. Today, we covered the attitude towards racism from both the Prophet's life as well as his teachings. In the next video, we will be highlighting the various verses and approach of the Quran regarding racism and tribalism.